Okay, we're going to look at some problems from section 6 rather, in our textbook, finding the inverse of a function and determining if two functions are inverses. So the general strategy is to switch the x and the y, or in this case, we can generalize that as the independent and dependent variable. So I will call that n equals -4/7, and we'll call that y. And we're going to solve for y. So we'll subtract 12/7. Oops. And we'll multiply by the reciprocal. And when we distribute, we would get -7n/4 plus the 7's divide out. 12 divided by 4 is 3, and we'll use our inverse notation. Okay, here, again, we'll switch the independent and dependent variable. Solving for the y, the dependent variable, subtract 1. We'll take the cube root of both sides, and then subtract 2. And again, we'll use our inverse notation. And there's our inverse. And lastly, again, here we do have an x and a g of x. So switching those two, x equals 1 over -y minus 1 plus 1. Subtract 1 from both sides. I'm going to multiply both sides by -y minus 1. And then divide both sides by x minus 1. I will add y to both sides. Subtract this expression. And using our inverse notation. And there's our inverse function. Okay, are these two functions inverses? So for two functions to be inverses here, f of h of x has to equal x, which is the same as h of f of x. This is what we call taking the composite. Doesn't matter which direction we go, f of h or h of f. So here, if we say find f of h of x, okay, so that means to find f of 1/9 x plus 4/9, because that's what h of x is equal to. So that means here where there's an x, instead of putting an x, we put the 1/9 x plus 4/9. So we have 2 plus, when we distribute, 1 over 45x plus 4 over 45. Well, that doesn't equal x, so those two functions are not inverses. All right, let me split the page here. So let's try it over here. This time I'll just switch it up and I'll do h of f of x. So that means it's h of -1 plus x minus 1 cubed. And so that would equal, plugging this in for x here, the cube root of -1 plus x minus 1 cubed plus 1. And then there's a plus 1 on the outside. Okay, so -1 plus 1 is 0. So we have the cube root of x minus 1 cubed plus 1. The cube root of this cubed is x minus 1. -1 plus 1 is x. So yes, those two are inverses. Okay, hope that helps, and we'll see you soon.